Hello and welcome to another episode of Rico'S Rants. I'm your host, Rico DiGiorgio. So, it's actually been about a week or two since I had actually made a Rico's Rant episode. Not for not for any specific reason, just because I was not feeling great. I've been not feeling 100% for the past 5 days, and so I have no energy, and even still, I'm not 100%. I have a light right in my eyes just to get with the lighting. So I apologize if I'm kind of squinting through the whole thing. I left my... Actually, I may have my sunglasses. I do. I have my sunglasses. This will help. So you're going to see me with my prescription sunglasses to do a Rico's Rant video at 3 in the morning. Let's see. There we go. That's a little bit better. I can actually kind of do this now. Unfortunately, I do still need a light in front of me. Okay. So, despite the fact that I've been not feeling 100%, I've been hanging with my friend, and to prepare for seeing the new Pirates of the Caribbean movies, he and I went through every single other Pirates film, all four. Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, and On Stranger Tides. So tonight's episode is going to be about Dead Man Tell No Tales. You know, I kind of feel like Dead Man wrote this screenplay. This was, especially after the past week of having a lot of pirates and a lot of Jack Sparrow and a lot of crazy swashbuckling pirate adventures. This just did not seem like the same franchise. It felt very off. There will be spoilers in this whole video. So if you have not seen Dead Man Tell No Tales, stop this video, go see it, come back. So, once again, spoilers, no more warnings. Okay, so this is also going to be spoilers for the other previous Pirates films. And I'm actually toying with the idea of, like I did with the previous Star Wars films, doing a one-on-one for each Pirates film. So, let's talk about the story of Dead Man Tell No Tales. First off, this Jack Sparrow is different. And I mean that, like, it almost seems like Johnny Depp, who I admire and have always admired for a good chunk of my viewing life. I've been a big fan of Johnny Depp. For in the beginning, I was reluctant to even watch a Johnny Depp film because everyone was obsessed with him, and I didn't really want to sort of get into it. And then I watched a Johnny Depp movie and just became hooked. And ever since then, I've been a fan. In particular, with his role as Jack Sparrow. Now, in this one, he plays him, at the very least in the beginning, kind of like the Mad Hatter. Like, his voice is more high-pitched. He's not the... He's sort of like lost his Keith Richards touch to me. I'm saying this with the validity of the fact that I have seen all the other four Pirates films in a week. So it's very fresh in my mind. And I was watching with my friend Michael, and we were just like, for this film, and we're just kind of like, something's off. Something's not right. Yeah, it's still Johnny Depp. Yeah, he's still in the whole costume, and he's doing the swagger walk, and he's doing the drunken kind of, voice that he does, but it's more flamboyant, which was underused for me in the previous films. So it just didn't seem like the Jack Sparrow that we kind of all grew up watching. I mean, the Pirates films are going on 15, 16 years. So we all kind of, if you were my age, you grew up with the Pirates franchise. When the first one came out, I was 10. So, I grew up with this. and I loved them. I loved even the bad ones, and I mean, I love the crazy ridiculousness of the acrobats that like Jack Sparrow and the swashbuckling. I mean, it made pirates cool again. Pirates in films had not been cool for a long time, with like the exception of the Goonies. I mean, Cutthroat Island was a film, and that sort of just killed off the pirates' interest. So, whereas like, you know, my father is a fan of the Western genre, I'm a fan of the pirates genre. I love that swashbuckling pirate legend, buried treasure kind of shit. I love it. And rewatching all these films brought that back. I just remembered the first film in particular. I was like, holy shit. This is, despite a lot of its faults, it's still a really fucking good movie. So, I can't say the same for this film. Not really. It's really disappointing. So, I'll try and talk about the good. I have some good, I have some bad, I got some fucking questions. And again, spoilers. So the good. The scenery and the shots were brilliant. It did in that retrospect feel like a pirates film, where it showed jungles, it showed, the ocean, it showed that. So it was visually a pirates film. Musically, pirates film, even though it was not Hans Zimmer coming back, they still used the score, and the music felt reminiscent of the previous films. That being said, the actors, and because this is I just saw it a couple hours ago, I don't remember all the actors in it, but I will just say who the characters are. In it, there is Henry Turner, and he is the son of Will Turner and Elizabeth Swann. Orlando Bloom and Keira Knightley's characters from the first 3 films. And he looks like he could be the child of both of them. He actually kind of resembles Orlando Bloom in a kind of way. So they at least got an actor to visually look like he could be the offspring. And that was cool. That showed they were at least trying to keep with some form of continuity. So the actor the actor who played him, despite the fact he looked like he fit in the Pirates film, was kind of bland. And I guess the secret is that Jack Sparrow is supposed to be the eye-popping, thing that we're all looking for. He's off-kilt, he's drunk, he's eccentric, blah, 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 blah. So every other character's got to be kind of bland. Okay. But at least with Orlando Bloom's character, he sort of represented the Errol Flynn straight man pirate type of thing, whereas Johnny Depp's Jack Sparrow was not. So there was a nice little balance. With this one, it was just Jack Sparrow being weird and a young kind of boy that just didn't really fit the Will Turner counterbalance. As for the female, I don't remember, Kaya something, blah, 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 blah. I don't remember but sure. The woman in this, the young woman, and I forget on her fucking character's name, but it's almost like Disney was trying to make a feminist statement and then just sort of fell apart with it, because this character is introduced as she's a scientist, essentially. She's a young scientist, and she's interested in like the stars. She's into astronomy, and that's cool. And then of course she's back in this period, she'd be labeled as a witch, and she's accused numerous times of being a witch, and that was Disney's sort of way of saying like she's a strong woman, but she's a witch. But at the same time, they kept making a lot of sexual innuendo jokes based on her character. Now I get it; it's pirates, and these guys don't really give a fuck about what a woman thinks or wants. So, it was just conflicting and confusing that they were trying to make a bold statement and then completely disregarding it by having everyone else be stupid. And it just was mismatched. It didn't feel right. It didn't, and I immediately lost interest in the character and the actress. Like, honestly, there's something about like the first film and all those characters, Barbossa, Will Turner, Jack Sparrow, and the Swan, that we are all invested, and we actually are kind of looking forward to seeing their transformations and their character arcs grow. I could give less of a fuck about this new cast. I really just don't care. Um, Jeffrey Rush comes back again as Captain Barbossa, and at this point he has sort of sold out, meaning the character, not Jeffrey Rush. The character is now immensely wealthy because he has a giant platoon of pirate ships under his command, and they've just been pillaging and getting treasure for years and years. In other words, he's sort of making up for all the years that he was undead and trying to return the Aztec gold. Now he's sort of like, okay, now I can keep gold. And so he's sort of flaunting his wealth. He had his peg leg from the previous film is now encrusted with jewels, and he's very vain, and he looks kind of ridiculous. He kind of looks like if Liberace or Freddie Mercury just kind of designed his costume. It was kind of bizarre. And Jeffrey Rush, it looks like he's having fun, but he also looks kind of bored. Like he's kind of like, all right, be back to be playing Barbossa. And he's just kind of like, not. They all look bored, honestly. They all look bored, including Johnny Depp. The one who looks the most bored and was the most disappointing was Javier Bardem. I'm a fan of Javier Bardem, specifically his role in No Country for Old Men. He shocked the fuck out of all of us. He scared the fuck out of all of us. He was truly terrifying in that role. This one, he is just hammy, and he has a thick accent that's hard to distinguish, and not to mention he's got a lot of fake blood in his mouth that kind of gurgles and spits out when he's talking. He's like, tell Captain Jack that Captain Salazar. When he's saying Captain Salazar, he's like, it's just blood just spewing from it. It's just, I mean, I thought fucking Davy Jones was hard to understand. Jesus, and we'll talk about that later. So, Javier Bardem is a ghost pirate who, he's not even a pirate. He was for the Spanish fleet, and he was responsible for like taking down a bunch of pirates. And young Jack Sparrow, when he was a boy, fucking fucks him over and tricks him into going into the Devil's Triangle, which is this sort of blocked off giant cave where he gets shipwrecked and dies. And because of his rage and the power of the Devil's Triangle, he and his crew and his ship become ghosts essentially, and they're trapped inside. They can't escape. One thing I have to mention, and there's a scene where it shows this. It shows a young Jack Sparrow, and we saw this in the trailer, so it's not a big spoiler, but I'm going to spoil the fuck out of it. Was seeing young Johnny Depp kind of, was it needed? It felt really out of place because we had never seen a flashback in the other films. So this just seemed odd, and I almost kind of wish they had not shown that scene. Everyone's trying to do the new de-aging thing, starting with Ant-Man, where they de-aged Michael Douglas, or de-aged Robert Downey Jr. in Civil War, or re-CGI'd Leia Carrie Fisher, young Carrie Fisher, and Peter Cushing in Rogue One. You know, yeah, the technology can be amazing, in particular for Michael Douglas and for Robert Downey Jr. But for this, it looked weird, and there's something always about the eyes. The eyes just always look off. And also I couldn't help but think, and this is not really a major criticism, but it was just something that I thought of, is they had higher pitched his voice because he'd be presumably younger. He sounded exactly like Russell Brand. It was really surprising. I was like, I feel like I'm watching Elvis Snow, for fuck's sake. One major plot point that I have to talk about is in this flashback, Jack Sparrow is not captain of the ship. His captain dies in the midst of the struggle from Salazar. And the captain, with his dying breath, gives Jack his compass. The compass that we've seen in every other Pirates film. That's super important. It only shows what whoever the holder has truly wants in life. Whatever the fuck it is. True love, treasure, rum, whatever. That's not what happened. And I know this because I just rewatched the fucking 4 films, but Tia Dalma from movies 2 and 3 states very clearly that she gave the compass to Jack. So it only took me a couple days to rewatch all 4 films. Did the writers fucking do that? I think they should have. They really didn't. They had an opportunity to just rewatch the shit and make notes. Or even talk to the fucking writers, the original writers, and be like, hey, so we're going to include the compass. What did we leave out? Oh yeah, Tia Dalma bewitched a compass and gave it to Jack. Whatever. Not that she gave it to someone else and then, it's just not part of the story. It was just a goof. But my friend and I were just watching it. We're like, oh, that's bullshit. That's not what fucking happened. And then I realized I'm 25, almost 26, giving a shit about pirates, but whatever. Okay, so the major plot point of this film is now Salazar is after Jack, and because they're ghost pirates, they can kind of just destroy ships and they can't die. Nothing really happens to them. So the only thing that they can do, meaning Jack and everyone else, to stop that from happening is to get the Trident of Poseidon, which is deemed too mythical even for the pirates to even actually believe is possible. So they don't believe it exists. How is it that you could see Davy Jones and see the afterlife, literally go to the afterlife and see skeletons and fish crews and zombies and Blackbeard and controlling ships and magic and voodoo, but Poseidon's trident is too bizarre, and mermaids, not to mention fucking mermaids. So every time a pirate's like, oh come on, it's just a legend, motherfucker, were you awake when you were in your previous adventures? Come on. So I mean, I admit I thought the trident thing was hokey. It didn't seem like kind of a pirate's legend, so to speak, but whatever. And if they get the trident, they can reverse all sea curses. So Henry Turner wants to use it to get Will Turner, his father, free of the curse of having to be captain of the Flying Dutchman. And at the beginning of the film, this is so bizarre. Beginning of the film, Henry Turner boards the Flying Dutchman by strapping a rope and some rocks. He's out in the middle of the ocean and he drops the rocks in and just sort of sinks down, and then is ultimately rescued by there's a fucking moth flying around. Get it, Dino. Oh, Dino, you suck. Holy shit! Oh, that was great. Did you get it, dude? That thing fucking caught me. Where is it, dude? What the fuck? Anyways, he fucking eat it. Just eat it, dude. Sorry. He gets... What the fuck was I? He gets on the Flying Dutchman, which... I guess he's just... I guess the thing is, if you're drowning, the Flying Dutchman will automatically save you and prevent you from dying or something. I don't know. They really kind of weren't very clear about that. And Orlando Bloom shows up and he looks kind of scaly or something, which... I don't know. It just seems... It didn't look right. I don't know. The whole set design and everything just didn't seem like a Pirates movie, which is just all you have to do is rewatch the fucking movies. Stick to A, B, and C. Forget D. So he wants to break the curse for his father, mirroring the whole thing about Will Turner wanting to break his father's curse. Same exact situation. Sort of. Okay. So, and the female, I can't remember her fucking name, they don't really actually kind of explain why she wants to try it. She's into stars, and I guess she just wants to do it for the fuck of it. And Barbossa wants to try to have clear control of the oceans, because now he is he's basically the head of the pirates, more or less. He's using it as a way of getting more gold. Jack Sparrow clearly wants it to just not die from Javier Bardem. Okay, so I will not spoil everything, but I will spoil the fact that it all works out. Shit works out for fucking everyone. And so at the end, the curse is broken. Orlando Bloom, I guess, is no longer the captain. So who the fuck? Like, someone has to have that as a role. That the whole point of the Flying Dutchman is that they have to vessel the lost souls to the afterlife. Like, that's their job. So if there's no captain and there's no crew, then there's just never-ending lost souls, just doomed, stuck in purgatory, essentially. That's really fucking stupid and selfish, and I now they have to make another one. They have to make another one to make it more explained. Or they could just not have made this one. Or if you're going to make another one, stop bringing back old characters and fucking up their storylines, because now everything doesn't make any fucking sense. In particular, when the captain of the Flying Dutchman is appointed captain, he has to cut out his own heart, put it in a chest, the dead man's chest, and have it locked away. That, for whatever reason, that's just part of the deal. So if the curse is broken, Orlando Bloom should just drop dead. He doesn't have a heart. Unless the heart would have disappeared from the chest and go into his chest, blah, blah, blah. I know I'm nitpicking, but, I did just see all other 4 films, so it's all fresh, and I'm just like, this is bullshit. Anyways, the final thing that I really have to kind of criticize, and this is another plot point, and there's a bonus scene in the film, like there are in every other film. So a lot of people don't know that, or a lot of people do. I don't give a fuck. So, the bonus scene of this one is Will Turner is back with Elizabeth, and they're in bed and he's sleeping. And as they're in bed and dreaming, you hear footsteps and a door opens to their bedroom, and the silhouette of Davy Jones, and you see the shadow, his tentacle beard just kind of moving, and you see his fucking part, his distinctive hat. Sort of walks in, and Will wakes up and looks, and he sees a giant crab hand lashing out at him. You don't see Davy Jones's face, and then he wakes up, realizes it was a nightmare, kind of just hugs Elizabeth closer, and just kind of goes back to sleep. And then the camera pans down, and there's a puddle on the floor with like barnacles on there. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, so let's say it was not a nightmare. Say that was actually what happened. That completely just shits on the other films. The fact that Davy Jones's story is done. It's over. It's complete. He's dead. He's not a ghost. And if he was a ghost, he wouldn't look like himself, because if the curse is broken, then he'd look human. He'd have a beard, he'd be human. He wouldn't look like a fucking, combination of Voldemort and Squidward. So, what the fuck are they trying to do? I've heard stories that this is supposed to be a soft reboot. Okay. A reboot is fine. But don't go to your previous stories and characters because you're running out of fucking ideas. 2 and 3 were okay movies. 2 better than 3. And Davy Jones was an interesting villain, and he had an interesting story. You do not have to bring it back. Just leave it the fuck alone. What they should have just done is not have the camera pan down and show a puddle and barnacles. Let it be a dream. Let it be a nightmare. That's fine. Because it would make sense that he's free of being the Flying Dutchman, but there could be a metaphor of the Flying Dutchman and all his years that he has already devoted is haunting him. That he was close to becoming Davy Jones. That's fine. That's symbolic. That's metaphorical. And it makes sense. But don't actually have it literally be Davy fucking Jones. Because it's just shit on the character that should be over with. Don't bring him back. Fucking do not bring him back. As much as I like Davy Jones and Bill Nighy as playing him, not needed. Not wanted. What, you mean, yeah, you're running out of fucking pirates. So, stop making movies. Stop making pirates movies. I'm just expecting now the next one is going to be like Poseidon, the god, is pissed off that they destroyed his trident. Spoiler. So he's going to come back and he's going to resurrect Davy Jones. And now it's going to be Jack Sparrow going up against a god. Why? So, on a scale of 1 to 5, I have to give this honestly like a 2. I just didn't have fun. This was not the same movie that I kind of grew up watching. Also, there's a fucking scene in the beginning when we're first introduced to Johnny Depp, Jack Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow, sorry. They're robbing a bank. And it felt very much like they're like, oh, you know what's great? The Fast and the Furious movies. Let's copy that. They literally steal the building. I'm not exaggerating. They fucking have ropes tied to a giant safe full of gold and money. And on horseback, Jack's pirate crew gallops away. And because the safe doesn't go through the building is dragged through the streets of wherever the fuck. So it's just this giant building lumbering around. There is no way those few horses were able to drag a building with that much speed. It really was ridiculous. This was Fast and the Furious swashbuckling style. This was so fucking out of place, man. So, I had major issues, and will I see it again? I don't know, man. This is one of the few that I'm like it. Before we did this, I was like, man, I'm kind of dreading seeing At World's End. At World's End was kind of a weak one, and On Stranger Tides was kind of the worst one. On Stranger Tides is a fucking masterpiece compared to this movie, and all they had to do was just rewatch the movies. And if they did, the problem is they focused too much on what we liked and decided, oh, we'll just bring this back. No, no, you're missing the fucking point of what we liked. And do your fucking homework next time. So on that note, I have to end the video. And did you guys see it? Let me know what you thought. If you had similar criticisms like me, to me, with me, come back and talk to me. Let me know what you guys thought. If you loved it, please tell me why you loved it. I'd love to know your opinion. Absolutely. But until then, I gotta give this a 2. And that's me being generous. Alright guys, love you all to death. Good night. Take care.